Arkansas's breaking news leader. Fox 16 News at 9 starts now.
Our coverage of the Sydney Sutherland case continues tonight. Search crews found the body of the 25-year-old yesterday. She was last seen Wednesday afternoon. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on Fox 16 News. I'm Stephanie Sharp. Multiple sources confirm a man is in custody at this hour in connection to her death. Quake Llewellyn was arrested on suspicion of homicide. This is him right here. Hunter Hoagland spoke with people in the Grubbs community who react to this news.
The search for Sydney Sutherland is over, but for many here in the small town of Newport, the pain is just beginning.
I'm glad that they found her and they didn't have to go through months and months of, worrying about what happened to her and where she went.
Dominique Wagner says she went to school at Tuckerman High with Sydney.
She was really loved. I mean, everybody knew her, everybody.
And while many knew Sydney, they tell me they also knew Quake Llewellyn, the man being held on suspicion of capital murder in connection to her death.
I wouldn't have never thought of anything like this to happen with him. He was a nice guy.
Law enforcement has remained tight-lipped about the investigation, but they tell us Llewellyn was a farmer nearby and was familiar with Sydney Sutherland.
Definitely caught everybody by surprise.
That was her usual jogging route, they say, for the farmer to know her. I guess they seen her every day walking that route, so that's crazy.
With an investigation that's far from over, Wagner hopes the Sutherland family knows the impact she had on Jackson County.
I'm so sorry for them, and I hope they get through it.
Little Rock police investigating a multi-vehicle accident that left one man dead and others injured. It happened on Rodney Parham at Northbrook Circle. Police say a forgery suspect fled from police at a bank and crashed into multiple other vehicles. The suspect died in the accident. That investigation continues. Arkansas State Police releasing new information tonight to hopefully find the vehicle that killed a man on Interstate 30 in Little Rock. They believe the driver was in a green Dodge Charger with an Arkansas Ducks Unlimited license plate. They were not able to get a complete reading, but there is a number 4 and the letter C in the license plate number. Police say there should be damage to the front end of that vehicle, and the Dodge emblem will be missing. The Wednesday night crash left 35-year-old Carol Felsey dead. Police say he was crossing the road near the Roosevelt exit when he was hit. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Arkansas State Police. A Fox 16 crime alert. Little Rock police investigating a homicide that happened early this morning. It happened on West 12th Street. Alexis Wainwright spoke with a family member of the victim who says he was a good man.
I love my cook.
Patricia Martin says she's lost for words after hearing about what happened to her cousin, Freddie Dorn Jr. Little Rock police say when officers got to Peyton Street, they found Dorn Jr. dead Saturday morning.
I'm humble. Lord.
Martin describes the type of person Dorn Jr. was.
He was so strong, looking out for everybody. He might have his ups and downs.
LRPD says they responded to a call about assault with a weapon around 1 a.m. They say the 911 caller says a man was hitting another person with a stick. LRPD says they later got another call about a man lying in the middle of the street.
Everybody in the neighborhood knew. Everybody. He was the second person that I met when I got here, and I fell so in love with him.
One woman who didn't want to be identified says Dorn Jr., also known as Pete, hung out in front of the shopping center along 12th Street.
When me and her walk to the store every morning, we look over there at that chair, and we expect Pete to be there.
Friends and family say Dorn Jr.'s loss impacts the entire neighborhood.
The friendliest person in the world. I mean, looks can be deceiving. But if you got to know him, you would know that he's one of a kind. One of a kind. And we're going to dearly miss him. I've been crying all day.
And that was Alexis Wainwright reporting. No suspect information has been released at this time. Police did confirm they talked to a witness and reviewed surveillance video.
Now, weather to plan your day with meteorologist Kristen Kennedy.
Well, our cool and refreshing mornings of 60-degree temperatures and afternoon highs in the 80s are long gone. We have the heat and humidity back in the forecast with highs today reaching the low to middle 90s across the state, from 91 in Little Rock to 91 in Batesville, up to 94 in Mountain Home and 93 in Searcy. Now, overnight tonight through tomorrow morning, we will see those temperatures falling down into the upper 60s and low 70s, but it's not going to be as nice as it was for the past few mornings because we have a lot more moisture in the atmosphere, so those upper 60s are not going to feel quite as nice. They're going to feel a bit more mild and somewhat muggy, with humidity playing a factor in our forecast not only tonight but several days to come. We have a lot more moisture coming in from the south. We're also looking at temperatures trending upwards for the next few days before we have a downward trend in our temperatures thanks to more cloud cover and rain chances. Plus, there is trouble in the tropics. We're looking at 2 potential tropical storms turning into hurricanes that could make landfall across the Gulf Coast this week. We're going to break down the very latest on what you can expect with those tropical systems and how they could impact us here in Arkansas, coming up in your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Turning now to the latest COVID-19 numbers in Arkansas. Over the last 24 hours, we have added 547 new COVID-19 cases, 56 of those from correctional facilities, 491 from the community. That now brings the total number of cases since March to nearly 56,200. We currently have over 5,700 active cases. Sadly, 11 more Arkansans have died, bringing that total to 674. Within the last week alone, we have seen a high increase in COVID-19 deaths. However, many medical professionals and coroners claim that number may be even higher. Lauren Kirkow spoke to the Arkansas Department of Health about how the state tracks COVID-19 deaths and explains why we could be behind.
53 COVID-19 deaths have been reported in Washington County, according to the Arkansas Department of Health. But the county's coroner says he's working nearly twice that amount.
We're probably averaging about 30 COVID deaths in the last 3 months.
Washington County Coroner Roger Morris says in the county alone, there are 90 COVID-19 deaths he signed off on.
They're behind.
Working around the clock while this deadly virus claims the lives of the state's most vulnerable.
In a month and a half, we're already in double digits from nursing facilities.
Dr. Jennifer Dillahay with the Arkansas Department of Health says with any infectious disease, it's likely there are more cases of COVID-19.
And if someone wasn't having symptoms at the time, and suppose they died suddenly of a stroke, people might not realize that COVID-19 contributed to that stroke if they weren't tested or have that diagnosis.
It can take weeks to get a final death certificate, and adding all the different health problems COVID-19 contributes to that can cause a person to die. Dr. Dillahay says the state is doing the best it can.
We know that how we classify and track deaths is never perfect, but nevertheless, we've done a good job, and the deaths that we do report are accurate.
We asked her what she thought the difference could be.
Do you think that number is significant?
I don't have a very good feel for what that number is like right now.
But at the end of the day, Morris says it's not about the numbers.
You probably won't have an accurate count of deaths until 3rd or 4th month in 2021.
He says it's more about protecting those around you.
Always be aware of your surroundings, and when you can, please wear a mask.
Well, the Arkansas Blood Institute wants to show you your pride for the natural state and help save lives. Next month, the organization will have its blood donation Overdrive at Simmons Bank Arena. All blood donations will be tested for COVID-19 antibodies. That way, the Blood Institute can identify any potential plasma donors. The donation drive will be held Friday, September 11th, starting at 9 a.m. We do have a link over at fox16.com where you can make an appointment. For remote learners who do not have Wi-Fi access, hotspots are popping up in districts statewide. The Hazen School District is adding locations to its growing list. Right now, Hazen High School is set up along with the elementary and a number of area churches. So is the Hazen and Bisco City Halls. The district's Facebook page will be adding more hotspots when they are up and running. For all of our latest coronavirus coverage and watch the governor's daily COVID-19 press conference, you can head over to our website, fox16.com. If you were on Markham this morning, you may have seen a Save the Post Office rally. Several grassroots organizations got together at the Brady Post Office. It was one of many rallies across the country calling on Congress to oppose any changes to postal service during the pandemic and election season, as well as calling for an extension of the absentee ballot application deadline.
We need our postal system now more than ever. I will be voting by a mail-in ballot for the first time in my life because it's the best thing for me to do.
Currently, absentee ballot applications are due by mail 1 week before Election Day. Congress took a break from recess to vote on a $25 billion emergency funding bill for the Postal Service. The House passed it. Democrats say the bill is crucial to preserve this year's elections, while most Republicans call it a waste of time and money. Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor reports on the debate.
I'm a hell yes on this vote. I'm voting no. This is a sham.
The House returned to Washington for an unusual Saturday session to address a U.S. Postal Service bill. But most Republicans, like Michael Guest, voted no.
I have been sent to Congress to be a good steward of taxpayers' money. I intend to vote against big spending bills.
House Democrats' legislation would give $25 billion in emergency funding to the USPS, outlaw additional service cuts until at least the end of the year, and require same-day processing of mail-in ballots.
It has nothing to do with anything except their hatred for the president, and they're trying to position themselves in a better place for the election, and I really hope it backfires on them.
Arkansas Congressman Bruce Westerman said the Postal Service has $14 billion in cash and another $10 billion from the CARES Act. But Democrats argue that $25 billion came as a direct request from the USPS Board of Governors.
We're here today to save the U.S. Post Office because almost every American depends on prompt delivery of the mail.
Tennessee Congressman Jim Cooper said the bill protects voters from recent cost-cutting measures that have slowed delivery and could threaten mail-in voting.
We shouldn't let our ballots be hurt by this.
The Republican-controlled Senate seems reluctant to take up the bill. Democrat Steve Cohen had a message to the senators up for re-election.
Adios. You'll be getting your last paycheck from the post office in January.
In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
The Washington County Election Commission says a recent special election was a good trial run for November. The commission met to certify the results of the recent election that annexed Bethel Heights into Springdale. The director of elections says overall the special election went smoothly with all of their new COVID-19 precautions in place. That included social distancing, PPE, and other measures to limit contact between voters and poll workers.
It's one thing to kind of practice everything in your office. It's another thing to actually put it out there and see how it will work with the public and our poll workers.
The commission also worked on the November ballot to make sure it is very clear and easy to understand, especially for people voting absentee this year. Coming up after the break, wildfires are spreading across California and firefighters are trying their best to contain them. We have an update. Plus, the Republican National Convention is just around the corner. Topics surrounding China, foreign policy, and more. We'll explain next.
You're watching Fox 16 News at 9 with Stephanie Sharp, meteorologist Kristen Kennedy, and sports with Troy Lynch.
Everyone has trouble hooking